Today we'll learn the models of blended learning. Blended learning is a combination of face-to-face instruction and computer-mediated instruction. 4 models of blended learning have become most common across K-12 schools. Insight Institute published a white paper in May 2012 titled Classifying K-12 Blended Learning that provides a definition of blended learning and a taxonomy that categorizes blended learning models. The taxonomy in the figure I will share below, as well as the diagrams of blended learning models that follow, are excerpts from the Insight Institute paper. The blended learning taxonomy. As you can see, we start with the brick and mortar and online learning systems. Combined, these make blended learning. The 4 models that we'll focus on: the rotation model, the flex model, the self-blend model, and the enriched virtual model. The rotation model is subdivided into 4 common implementations: station rotation, lab rotation, flipped classroom, and individual rotation. The other models will likely develop subcategories as they mature and as researchers deepen their understanding. Let's take a look at the station rotation model. It's a rotation model implementation when students rotate on a fixed schedule between learning stations, at least one of which is online. A station rotation model might start with teacher-led instruction, and then collaborative activities and stations, and lastly, an online instruction station. The teacher-led instruction station is simply when students receive direct instruction from a teacher. Collaborative activities are varied, and they could be modeled by projects, by group work, games, flashcards, pencil paper tasks, and other activities to enhance learning. Online instruction is when students learn using software or other online-based coursework on classroom computers. There are a variety of activities that students can access while online, including previewing information, reviewing skills, or taking computer assessments. Through these kind of tech-based activities, students have opportunities to work independently and privately on building their skills. Between the last 2 stations, there may be a paraprofessional there to help answer questions and guide learning. Here we see a teacher giving direct instruction to the group of students in the first 2 rows. Notice students are listening and not doing any other task at this time. In the back of the class, there's another group working on iPads, and over to the side, yet another group collaborating, utilizing technology. Sometimes utilizing technology is done in groups and other times individualized. Each station, students are engaged and practicing new skills, building their understanding. Some benefits: requires little adjustment to the schedule. It allows students to be led in small group learning activities, and it helps accommodate large class sizes. Project-based learning can be incorporated. Training needs to be provided to teachers. Learning management systems must be used to gather data, and online station content needs to be easy enough for students to learn without a teacher present. Let's look at the lab rotation model. The lab rotation model is a rotation model implementation in which students rotate on a fixed schedule among locations on the brick-and-mortar campus. At least one of these spaces is a learning lab for online learning, while the other stations happen in other classrooms. The lab rotation differs from the station rotation because students rotate among locations on the campus instead of staying in one classroom. Direct instruction can be given in one classroom for math and science, another classroom for literacy and social studies, another classroom for literacy and social studies, and lastly, a learning lab where paraprofessionals are present to help guide and aid learning. Some benefits are that you can still continue on your normal routine at school. A paraprofessional cuts costs, and challenges are that there's little evidence of teachers using the data to direct face-to-face instruction. A learning management system is necessary. And again, online content needs to be easy enough for students to learn without teacher assistance. The flipped classroom model is a rotation model implementation in which students rotate on a fixed schedule. This schedule consists of two phases. The first phase is done during a typical classroom setting when teachers clarify understanding of the online content to enhance student understanding of the same content with a variety of activities. So, at school, students are directly instructed by teachers to practice, and they're also involved in different projects and collaborations to enhance their learning. The other phase is when students learn from home. This is typically done online, and it's when students actually are delivered new content and instruction. A flipped classroom is different from students who do homework practice online at night because a flipped classroom actually delivers the content. The flipped classroom model allows students to choose a location where they receive the content and instruction online and to control the pace at which they move through the elements. Students can complete software lessons outside of class time and then do their homework during class time when a teacher is available for assistance. It ensures that while students are in class, they are actively engaged in learning. A Bloom's taxonomy for a flipped classroom is seen below. Notice that the flipped model, outside of class, students are learning. They are understanding the material and remembering the material outside of class. That way, inside of class, students apply, analyze, evaluate, and create things based off of their learning that happened outside of class. The benefits are that class time is used to extend knowledge. Students can replay videos outside of class, and students can ask questions before turning in homework. It does not require a change in the routine. All students must have access to a device at home, and teachers need to be trained in new areas. The individual rotation model is when students rotate on an individually customized fixed schedule among stations. At least one of them is online. A teacher sets individual student schedules. This rotation model differs from the other ones because students do not necessarily rotate to every station. This model is adjustable, and it frees students from having to move through every station at every stage in their coursework, and lets them work in stations that better meets their needs at any given point. Teachers are there and available to clarify or to expand on the information learned online and provide student support. Some different stations might be intervention, seminar, direct instruction, group projects. While all students must be involved in the learning lab, where paraprofessionals are there to help aid and guide learning, and the other stations are set up by a teacher. The Carpe Diem Collegiate High School and Middle School utilizes this individual rotation model, which is sometimes referred to as the Carpe Diem model. At the heart of Carpe Diem is the learning where students perform inside departments when they come in and see a really nice work at their computer and hands-on workshops with teachers. As much as I can. It's great. It makes it more relevant by giving them projects. Benefits are that students work at their own pace, they select stations that appeal to their learning style, there's a predictable routine. Challenges are that it's a fixed schedule, and teaching techniques and content must be adapted to ensure learning. A flex model refers to courses where online learning is the backbone of students' learning experience. This takes place on a brick-and-mortar campus. Teachers are available for tutoring, guidance, and offline learning activities. The flex model is different from the rotation model in that it begins with online learning and the teacher adds to that. Some different elements of the flex model are seen on the screen, but what must be incorporated is that students are involved in this learning lab with paraprofessionals there. Sometimes this looks like a lab where students can log in and see assignments that must be done throughout the week. Students can click through these assignments and see what their expectations are. The self-blend model is when students take an online course while attending a brick-and-mortar school. This model is most common among students at the high school level. Online courses, such as foreign language classes that are not offered at the brick-and-mortar school, are taken by high school students during the study hall or after school. So, at school, students might be learning in a cyber lounge, and at home, students are practicing and interacting with their online teacher to complete assignments. The enriched virtual model. The enriched virtual model requires students to have face-to-face instructional sessions, but students are given the flexibility to complete the rest of the classwork online from a location of their choice. It differs from the flipped classroom model because students are required to meet face-to-face. At home, they interact with the content, and at school, they have face-to-face supplementation that's required. So, what's needed for successful implementation? Technology, paraprofessionals, teacher training, suitable technology, and learning management systems to collect data. Start with asking yourself, what's the problem that needs to be solved? Every school is different, with its own unique mixture of problems, resources, and educational goals. Pick the right blend for you.